Warlords of Draenor. Is it worth a buy? Let's read. Forge your future from the iron of the past. The Iron Horde must be stopped. Garrosh Hellscream has escaped to the past and united with his father Grommash, fierce leader of the Warsong clan. Together they are forging the orc clans of Draenor into a savage war machine. It falls to you to crush the Iron Horde before the Dark Portal is completed and the invasion begins. Travel to the Draenor of the past, a world of giants and monsters, a world the fearsome and legendary orc chieftains call home. Face the dangers of this untamable world and bring down the Iron Horde before both the past and the future are lost forever.
That's right, guys. If you're into the lore, Garrosh Hellscream has escaped. He's made this portal thing, and essentially, you go back in time to a world where it's quite strange because you see places before they got to how they are in the Burning Crusade, which is quite. If you're into that kind of thing, but to be honest, we all just don't give a shit, do we? We just questing. Who reads quests? You've got to have a beard and round glasses and long hair and, wear Marvel t-shirts before you read actual quests. So if you tick them boxes, then you may read the quests. For the rest of us, we just want to know how many fucking squirrel tails we need to get our next batch of XP. That's what it boils down to. First of all, I want to say this is a two-parter. The first part is me leveling up and telling you the main differences, and the second part will be level 100, what is there to do. Let's go over the launch first of all. The launch of this game was probably the worst MMO launch I've ever witnessed, and that was there at Conan. Believe me, I've seen some bad launches. Arcade was a travesty as well, but they pale into insignificance compared to how bad Warlords of Draenor was. We got the portal opening, an awesome cinematic as you would expect from Blizzard, and then pretty much 10 seconds later the servers crashed. Yeah. Ever since then, and it's now Tuesday the 18th, pretty much a week since Warlords have dropped. Ever since then it's Q Lords of Lagnor. That's pretty much what this game is. I now know why they made Hearthstone, guys. They made Hearthstone for something for you to do while you're in the queue to get into Warlords of Draenor. That's pretty much it. Every server I tried had queues in the thousands. Now, to put that into perspective, regardless of how many minutes Blizzard say you'll have to wait, I can tell you from experience that on Sunday I had a 5.5 hour wait to get into Warlords of Draenor. 5.5 hours I sat waiting, and that was on the Sunday, 4 days after launch, guys. Totally unacceptable. You come in from work tonight, 5-6 o'clock, you try to get in, forget it. You're going to have to wait a couple hours or an hour or so. It's that bad. And there is no fucking excuse for that at all. Blizzard should know better. They've been doing this since 2004. Enough of that, I was pissed off about that, but I have been able to play by camping the fucking queue for the past week. And the game, it looks much better. The graphics have had an upgrade. It still looks a bit strange, but it's better than it was. Still cartoony, but you kind of get away with it. But the first thing that I want to mention that I'm loving, and they do this with all their expansions, is there is no flying in the new zones. Ground mount only. And I've heard that they may never add flying mounts. I know there's some people are saying they're definitely going to in 6.1, but some are saying that it may never happen, and I'm firmly with the I hope it never happens brigade. You see, if I was given my way, I'd take all this bullshit out where join the queue for a dungeon and you can just sit dueling outside of fucking Orgrimmar until the queue pops up and you're magically teleported to the dungeon. Fuck that. You want to go to Molten Core? Get on your fucking mount and ride there after you've landed in the zone with the Wind Rider, because that's what made WoW great. It wasn't the lore and all this bullshit. It wasn't epics and all that. What it was out questing, and then all of a sudden a whole fucking raid of the enemy faction come over the hill, 40 of the heading for a dungeon, and it's like, my goodness, and they're chasing you all. That's what made Warcraft great, and it's lost that appeal. It's lost that magic. You only get it back when a new expansion drops for the first couple of months. That's when you get the feel of what vanilla was like. And that's why I'm loving Warlords at the moment, because I'm having that feel. There's Horde and Alliance everywhere. The big thing about Warlords of Draenor is the garrisons. Now, if you've played Pandaria, you'll know you get a farm, Sunsong farm. Well, the garrison's like a massive upgrade to that kind of idea. Lord of the Rings have something similar, but it's just not as good. Basically, what the garrison is, it's your own fort. And you can place whatever buildings you want in there from the list of selectable ones. And you can tailor it to how you want to play the game. You can tailor it to your professions. You can tailor it to your gearing. All sorts of options that you have. They have done a tremendous job, it has to be said, on the garrisons. The garrison feature is worth the fucking expansion alone. It is brilliant. You have all these followers, this whole living town essentially, all follow you. They salute you in the morning. It's like, alright mate, yeah, it's great. And you have a planning room where you can send your followers on quests and they get shit for you. You've got your own mine, your own herb garden, your own fishing place, your own enchanter's hut. You've got your own shit, guys. And the great thing is there's loads and loads of quests to do from there, and you can level up and do shit in your garrison, and it's a great idea that Blizzard have come up with. And friends can visit your garrison, you can visit their garrisons and all that kind of stuff if you want to do role playing and shit like that. There's a lot there for the garrisons. It's really fun building it up. They go over 3 levels, and it does take a while to build up, and a lot of gold, a lot of grinding, a lot of resources have to go into it, but it's kind of one of them pulls where you want to do it because you just want the perks, because there's a lot of really interesting perks like improved mount speed. You can get new mounts completely. There's perks that can be useful in PvP. There's perks for pretty much everything, and there's a lot of gold to be made. The only worry is you can grow your own herbs, you can disenchant your own shit, and you can even get your own ore, and it takes away the necessity, not entirely, but it takes away the necessity to buy from people who are gatherers. They're going to take a hit with this. You don't get a lot of herbs. I mean, I'm not a herbalist, but I do get enough herbs to make a bit of gear, because you use herbs, special herbs for crafting. And so that is a worry, but so far I'm not overly concerned about it. It does seem to be okay. So the leveling, how big a grind is the leveling up? Well, I've reached level 97, I believe. So leveling up is quick. It's pretty quick. I have a bodyguard, which is one of my followers. They all have different perks, your followers, and different abilities. And one of them, for one of mine, is a bodyguard. So he comes with me when I'm questing, and he's a PvP bodyguard as well. He can get into the horde if I tell him to. So he's quite good. He's a tank, the one that I've got, so he taunts the enemies, which is really nice because I'm DBS. So we work well together, and leveling up I've found is quite fast. There are bonus quests out there where you can kill an extra amount of mobs and you get a shitload more XP, well worth doing. And there's shitloads of rare elites. Now, how they've changed the rare elites is when you see a rare mob and you see it for the first time, it is rare. But if you kill it, it'll respawn again after a couple of minutes, and it won't be rare and it won't drop decent loot for you anymore, but it will still be there. So it's only rare the first time you see it, which I don't know if I like that idea, to be honest. I kind of preferred the whole idea of, oh look, it's rare, then it might not come back for a day or two. I preferred that way. Also, the quest bosses that you have to find and kill, you just need to get one hit on them. They've took away all the tagging now. You don't have to, oh shit, he's tagged it, invite me to your group please, and they'll just say fuck you. You know, that's all gone, which I'm pleased to see, because now you can progress without little twats tagging all the mobs with their instant ranged spells. So that's a good thing. So leveling up, I've had absolutely no problem at all. There's quests everywhere. You've got quests coming out your arse, guys. It's so easy to level up. It's full on PvP, as you would expect from Blizzard. There's no care bearing in the sense that apart from there's a kind of when you first land, you've got to go through like a prologue, where there's no PvP, but that doesn't last long, and then you're straight out into the world. The Horde is pretty much north, the Alliance at the south, and as you get to around about level 94, the middle zones, you start seeing each other, and then the fun begins. Although it has to be said, on my server, most people are just interested in leveling up, so there's not a lot of PvP going on. I've done a few of the dungeons. A lot of cinematics in them. The loot system has changed now. I don't know when this came in because I'm pretty much out of date with WoW, but essentially now I'm not finding any quests in these dungeons at all. The quests kind of like auto. It says when you first go in, kill this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. It's kind of seems to be random as who gets what gear. And coming onto the gear does tend to be tailored. So for example, if you're questing with, say, a druid and you're a paladin, and you both kill somebody on a quest, the quest reward will always be strength and, say, stamina for me as a paladin, but for the druid it'll be agility and it'll be a leather, and mine will be plate. So it doesn't matter what you're doing the quest, the reward is always good for you. It's only in the random world mobs that you can get like gear that doesn't work for your character. So I like that idea as well. So they've done a lot of stuff to this game. They've made it a lot better than it was, and I am really enjoying it. How does it compare to Arcade? The graphics aren't as good as Arcade. I don't think the combat is good at Arcade, and I'm going to come to that in 1 second. The crafting is light years ahead of Arcade. There is no cash shop like there is in Arcade. So, I mean, people have said, when's part 3 of Arcade coming? I've stopped playing Arcade simply because the crafting got f***ed over, and I don't like the way the cash shop's gone as well, and I think Treon have f***ed that game up. It had enormous potential, but they've f***ed it up anyway. This is Warlords of Draenor. I'll go into that in a second. The big thing that they've changed for all you people who've never played WoW for years is they have simplified it. Now, what I mean by that is, to give you an example, my mage in vanilla in Burning Crusade, when he was at like level 40, 50, he had a shitload of abilities and powers. At level 44, he's got 3. And my paladin's level 97, I believe, and I'm using 4 or 5 abilities. I should be using about 10 or 15. What Blizzard have done is they've streamlined everything. Now they've said they've had to do it because there was just so many abilities, but I guess some of them had become a bit useless, and so I'm all for it, but I think they've took it too far. I think they've really dumbed it down too much, and I don't really have much to do anymore. So it's kind of makes combat very boring and repetitive and rotation based, which I've never been a fan of rotations. I've always liked to have lots of different options open to us in a battle, whereas now it's kind of cookied. You know, it's just you just do the same thing over and over again in the combat, which is a shame. It is a shame, but I guess the catering to people who are shit. That's the only way I can think of. So they've dumbed it down. There's no doubt about it. It's been dumbed down, but it's still a bloody great expansion. It's a bit pricey, mind, but it is very good. The garrisons are brilliant. The questing is the same old. Go and get 10 skunk tails or whatever the hell it is. They've added, like I say, these new type of bonus objectives which make it a little bit better, and there's a lot more bosses out there as well. If they keep flying mounts out of Draenor, they're on a winner. I'll keep playing, but once the flying mounts come back in, it's going to be shit again, because it's just going to take away all the excitement of world PvP. So there you go, that's Warlords of Draenor Part 1. I'll be back with 97 to 100 and a little bit on the end game, probably around about mid to late December. So there you go, Warlords of Draenor so far is definitely worth a buy.